Grant Shapps has been telling outright lies about his involvement in a series of cheap and nasty get-rich-quick schemes for years now. And I don't use the word lie lightly. Shapps did not make a mistake with dates. He did not overly firmly deny anything. He's been engaged in a deliberate and years-long attempt to deceive the electorate with an outright lie. And it gets worse. Questions were raised about this a few years ago, and the response was the widespread removal of both the live websites and even archived versions of these pages, all while Shapps was pretending that he had nothing to hide. And it gets even worse. About a year after the relevant pages were removed from the public domain, Shapps began pushing a cover story that contained several falsehoods about what those pages contained. Now, I'm here today to demonstrate that in doing so, Grant Shapps lied deliberately and repeatedly about his conduct while acting as internet marketing guru Michael Green. I need to be clear that Shapps lied about many things. For example, he lied about acting as Michael Green for years after he became an MP. He also lied about promoting a fraudulent product under that same name. But for now, I'm going to focus on one single crucial lie that he told about how open he was about his dual identity. This is a part transcript of an interview with Michael Crick in November 2013, in which Grant Shapps said, "I was always completely open about the fact that I wrote using a pen name, Michael Green, which I wrote on the actual web page that it was me writing under that pen name." No, he didn't. This is from a March 2015 statement issued on his behalf by the Conservative Party. "Grant wrote with a pen name. This was completely transparent. His full name and biographical details were permanently published on the company's main website." No, they weren't. This is from a statement that Grant Shapps bullied a constituent into publishing on their Facebook page with a threat of legal action that was based on yet more lies. "I recently made a post suggesting that Grant Shapps MP had lied over the use of a pen name. I now accept that such an assertion was entirely false and that Mr. Shapps MP has at no time misled over use of that pen name. Indeed, I now understand that he openly published his full name alongside business publications, blah blah blah. This never happened." Now please note, all these statements push the same clear assertion about Grant Shapps' real name being on permanent display on a single page of his website, and that they were issued after he was confident that all copies of the relevant website had been removed from public domain. I recently played a role in discovering a previously unknown archive of this same website. The archive I found included not only 500 distinct captures of the front page of this main website, but also 50 distinct captures of the biography page for Michael Green. These captures revealed multiple changes to the main page and the bio page over the space of many years. I've analysed them in detail, and this is a summary of my findings. What have we got here? Number one, the name Grant Shapps did not appear alongside all or even many of Shapps' so-called business publications, most of which had their own domain name and website. In fact, out of the hundreds of pages I've reviewed from dozens of websites, I've seen the name Grant Shapps appear alongside the so-called business publication 0 times. What does appear on every page is a link back to howtocorp.com, which brings us to number two. Over 500 copies of the main page of howtocorp.com were captured over the space of 5 years. The name Grant Shapps was not permanently on display on this page. In fact, there is no sign it ever appeared on this page. Number three, there was at one time a biography page, a link to a biography page for Michael Green on the bottom of the front page. I say at one time because the link to the biography was removed from the front page of the howtocorp.com website after Grant Shapps became an MP. Number four, the biography didn't always carry text describing Michael Green as a pen name. At one time there was no indication that Michael Green was anything other than a real person and the sole founder of a corporation that may or may not have existed. And finally, number five, out of more than 50 captures of the biography page covering many years, there is no indication anywhere that Grant Shapps included his real name on this page, despite many claims that he did. And Grant Shapps is an MP. He used the Conservative Party's own lawyers to bully a constituent into publishing what he knew to be a lie. And normally one would expect to face disciplinary action, suspension or even ejection, but that's not the way Tories do business. Shapps is not only allowed to carry on as a member of the Conservative Party, he's permitted to continue acting as its chairman. Now, any legitimate organisation would have approached this matter rationally, responsibly and professionally. Instead, what we've seen is senior Conservatives lashing out like children. The Conservatives don't regard themselves to be answerable to any authority, or even the electorate for that matter. That's why they plan to bluff their way past this crisis, at least until the election is over. That's something Grant should be thinking about. Meanwhile, party chairman and campaign soprano Grant Shapps will continue to play a crucial role in convincing voters that only the Tory party can be trusted to govern honestly and responsibly. Now, just remember that the next time a Conservative comes knocking on your door and asking for your vote, you could be the next constituent who gets bullied into accepting a lie and publishing it on their Facebook page just because you're not rich enough to face down a cheap 2-bit con man who happens to be chairman of the Conservative Party. On that note, my final message is for Grant Shapps himself. Grant, you know I've been an expert in the field of search engine optimization for over a decade, and personally I've got to say I'm disappointed. You have the audacity to con people out of their money to sell a product that's specifically designed to cheat Google and its users. The explicitly stated position of howtocorp.com is that none of this matters if you don't get caught. You're a fucking disgrace. You have no shame, and if there were any justice in the world, you'd be out of a job and in jail. Have your lawyers chew on that. Goodbye.